Hello, welcome to an episode of the Single Guys podcast. I'm Jason
I am Desmond,
and we are
the single guy.
very single still. So I met my ex-girlfriend today with her husband and her daughter.
Right, it's always interesting, isn't it?
Yep. But we're not here to talk about that.
Oh,
No, we're not. So before we actually get into the actual topic, do you remember our handle? Because I sure don't.
okay.
I know it's the single guys the dot single guys on Instagram, and then on Gmail it is
TheSingleGuys.podcast.
at gmail.com. That's right. Not too bad, not too bad. But yes, we haven't posted anything in a while. But the single guys, okay, here's what we're going to talk about today. Traveling. We can't travel at the moment.
Yep, and I bet everybody's missing. You look in IG, all the stories, everybody's missing traveling.
Everyone's posting flashbacks or what do you call that? Not
Throwbacks.
Throwbacks. Yeah, correct. Throwbacks. And yeah, I mean, where do you want to go, Des? Like, okay, here's the question: where do you want to go as soon as we're allowed to travel, providing all our finances are in order?
Let's also assume that
Disease.
it's safe.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. The
Yeah.
disease is also in check.
Let's say it's in check.
Yeah. Where would you like to travel? Like, okay, so for me, I mean, I'd go back to the Philippines because that is the one place I miss. It is second home, I would say. Maybe it's third home, lah, I would say. Second home is still Singapore somehow. Because, I mean, second home, literally, it is my second home. I have family there and relatives, and yeah.
Yeah. For myself, I think, funny enough, I usually won't say this, but I would say Singapore first, just simply because of personal agenda.
Okay, what is that?
Uh,
Well, okay, you don't strike me as somebody who is a Singapore traveler.
I don't always go to Singapore.
Why
But
is that?
because somebody that I know, she recently just moved to Singapore.
Right, okay.
So there's that. So it's pretty much just visiting a friend.
Okay. And why do you not strike me as a friend in
Friend in
quotes?
quotes. Friend.
Because there was a history there.
Yeah, well, ish. Like to say, yeah.
But besides meeting your friend, right? You think about this. We've been stuck in our own borders since January.
That's correct.
It is now June as we record this. We are actually one of the lucky ones that actually traveled in
Yeah,
January.
right before the Corona lockdown happened.
Yeah. So the countries got locked down in March.
Yep.
We didn't travel in February because we assumed everything would be fine for
Yep.
2020.
Still didn't know what was going to happen.
Yep. And 2020 smacked us in the face
Oh,
and
yes.
said, nope, you're not traveling anyway. But other than visiting your friend for a personal agenda, why would you travel to Singapore after the lockdown?
I think-
Why is this actually a choice?
If I was to go alone, then yes, I'll go to Singapore. But let's say
Okay.
if I was traveling with somebody else, then I think Philippines would be definitely a great place to travel to with a group of people, just simply because it's more fun. Yeah, food, drinks.
Female company, perhaps. I mean, look, for me, I've got my house issue to fix.
Oh yes,
Yes,
quite neglected.
it is very neglected. Every time I fix something, it gets broken into and what. Fortunately,
Most of a home owner.
yeah. Fortunately, right now, as far as I know, it hasn't been broken into because I installed a gate sometime last year. I went in July, August, somewhere for the Twice concert,
Oh yes.
and I installed a gate on my doors and my window. So yeah, it hasn't been broken into, fortunately.
Hopefully.
But I still have that house to not say fix, but to try and sell or rent it out.
Yeah.
So I gotta go back there somehow, eventually.
Eventually.
And of course, I posted this on Instagram maybe a week ago, where I shared some Jollibee.
Ah, yes. It
I
is
mean, okay,
different when you have it there.
okay. So we have Jollibee here in Brunei. There's Jollibee that exists in Singapore and Malaysia,
Hmm.
but the Jollibee in Philippines is totally different.
It is different.
Jollibee in Philippines has a lot of mushroom sauce.
Oh, yes.
I love that shit, and they have the palabok, which I really, I
Authentic
love
Filipino
palabok,
food
man.
is the bomb as well.
So okay, describe palabok to you. Like you've never had palabok before until I brought you to Jollibee in Philippines. What was
Yeah.
it like for you? Because it's like tanghun with prawn, but
It is. So it is quite a I don't know.
it's a very light meal.
It is.
So it's
It
not
is.
heavy.
So it's not heavy at all.
Yeah,
That
you
is
can
correct.
have it
That
for
is correct.
breakfast.
That is correct. Which I quite like a lot actually. I feel that a lot of the meals that we have here are actually very heavy. But you can get very light meals there, and I think it's definitely much welcomed, especially if you're going to be moving around a lot.
Okay. And I also miss tocino, which is basically garlic rice with a sunny side up egg and slices of pork meat dipped in red sauce, which is a bit like our char siu, but not really char siu also.
It's their version of a char siu.
It's their version of char siu. And it's got like, I think honey coated over it or something. So it's really sweet.
Yes, they do tend to like to make things a little bit.
They do love their sweet stuff
yes.
there. And yeah, so I just keep talking. So I talked about my house. I talk about the food.
A lot of reasons to go back for.
I also miss the casino. I just like going there and gambling. It's yeah, bad habits.
Bad habits.
So, and of course, we got some friends there.
Yeah, definitely.
Some friends to meet up.
Some friends, definitely.
And yeah, so it's just the first place I would go to.
Probably because it's also budget friendly, and I would say
Oh, yeah.
it's a great place. It's packed with a lot of things, great food, great destination, but it's also budget friendly. So I believe.
So I remember having the Jollibee meals, right? I remember they cost for what we have here in Brunei is called the I think it's N1, where it's spaghetti and a drink, just the spaghetti and a drink.
Yep.
It costs $2.75 here.
Yes.
I think so. No, $2.75 is without the drink.
Without.
$3.25.
Yeah.
$3.25. Yeah.
Right.
So in Philippines, that same meal costs 79 pesos, which is equivalent to $2.40.
Correct.
And the portion is a lot bigger there.
Yep.
And the meal which I always have in Brunei, which is the Jollibee with the yum burger, it's $5 here. Over there, it's 100 and I think it's 109 pesos, which is equivalent to just over $3.
Well worth it.
Yep.
Well
And also
worth it.
a bigger portion.
Yeah.
The burgers are a lot bigger as
I
well.
think I love that the beer there is cheap. So
Yeah.
beer is cheap.
And the beers are cheap. Like even we're in a pub or in a bar in a club, a beer was gonna cost us 100 about 150 pesos. No, less than that actually. Less than that.
You can get it less.
It's about 80 pesos.
Yeah, 80 pesos.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's about
It's
$2.
been a while.
When was your last trip to the Philippines? 2018.
Yeah.
So you didn't go there in the whole of 2019.
No, not 2019.
Wow, you've had 2 years without all these goodies, man.
I know. Yeah, we've been traveling to other places.
Okay, so we spoke about at least the place where I would go. You've briefly touched on Singapore, right?
Like I said, it's quite the personal agenda, I would say. So I mean, it's not always gonna be Singapore, but it is what it is right now.
Okay, so Singapore for me, right, is home, but not really home in a way. Home because I've got relatives there. Every once in a while, I'll go visit my grandmom, my grandmother's, what you call that? Once they cremated. After they cremated, they put the ashes at this like a temple kind of thing.
Well, I don't know the official term.
There's
for
a
it.
term for this.
Yeah, there's a proper term for it.
But anyway, so yeah, I'll pay my respects to my grandmother, and I will also again go gambling there. I think that's kind of like
I see a pattern here.
yeah, there's quite a pattern here. Um, obviously, I get to see my uncle, my cousin.
Yep.
That's always the fun part. Yeah, and okay, and when I'm in Singapore, I don't like staying with my uncles though, or my relatives,
Yes, well,
because
I think for most people, they just generally try to stray away from family.
yeah, because
contact.
in Singapore, first of all, it's inconvenient.
Mhm.
Like I'm invading their space,
Yeah,
and they don't have this space ready because Singapore is so tight.
correct. Not everybody's gonna have an extra bedroom. Not
Correct.
everybody's gonna be able
I have to
basically
sleep
accommodate you.
In living room,
Correct. Yeah.
if I'm staying at my uncle's place. If I'm staying with my cousin, that's better because he's got a 3-bedroom apartment,
Mhm.
and it's only him and his girlfriend. But he's converted one into like a gaming room,
Right.
and I just found out 2 weeks ago that he converted the other room into a like a makeup room for his girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna stay there, it'll probably be in the gaming room. But hey, at least it's got aircon.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
But it's so far. It's in Punggol.
Oh gosh.
Punggol is like at the top of Singapore, at the tip of Singapore, and to get to if I want,
Anywhere,
I want to go to Marina Bay Sands. It's going to take me an hour plus.
Yeah.
Imagine if I go to Marina Bay Sands, I forget my passport.
Yep. It's all
I
the
have
way
to
back.
go all the way back.
Yep.
Oh
Not
man,
the kind of mistake you want to make.
exactly. Actually, on my last trip, I made that same mistake where I forgot my passport. But fortunately, I was staying in Little India.
All right. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I love Little India.
Yeah.
Okay. Little India, first of all, very important, cheap shit all around.
Oh yes.
There's,
you love it.
there's
Yep.
another
Yep.
pattern coming up here.
Going in for the bargain.
Yep. Even in Singapore.
Yes.
So in Little India, I usually pay either for Airbnb or a hotel.
Which might be a sad thing. We don't know how longer Airbnb will be around. We don't know if they will even survive till next year.
Really?
That's the dilemma that we're in right now. Yeah.
It's that bad, huh?
It's that bad. It's that bad. Airbnb news has it that they've been borderlining, so we don't even know whether they'll be around next year.
But the concept of staying in people's house
Correct.
will still be there.
Correct.
Maybe
This
not
concept has already
Airbnb, yeah.
become the new norm. It's
Yes.
just who will take over. Will they continue?
Correct.
Or will they be able to last till next year?
Or will be
somebody
another
else pick up
company.
the legacy?
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
The last time I saw before the pandemic, right? I think it was Agoda that was trying to create a second branch for their booking system, where it's to book this kind of places.
Should.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
Any business that doesn't evolve, I mean, one way or another, you're gonna lose your
Yep.
your share in the market.
So I think the concept will still be
It
there,
will remain for the next, I don't know
just
how many
that
years.
maybe the brand will not be there.
Yeah. It may not be Airbnb, but it may be something else.
Yeah. So I like staying in Little India, in either a cheap hotel or Airbnb. I think the last trip I stayed was I booked through Airbnb, but it wasn't a hotel. It wasn't a house. It was not even a hotel. It was a shop house. Okay, a shop house that officially was listed as in Little India.
Yep.
But the closest MRT station to it was Jalan Besar,
Mm-hmm.
Jalan Besar Stadium. So basically, it was about 200 meters, or less than 200 meters from the football stadium. And
Yep.
I could hear the football being kicked.
Yep. Yep.
I really like that place. So what you get is you get your own personal room, okay? But it's a shared toilet. And that shop house has quarters. It's got A, B, C, and D. And each quarter you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rooms. So
okay.
6 times 4, that's 24 rooms in
Yep,
that place. I forgot what the place is called. I have to look in my Airbnb history. But yeah, I really like that arrangement because the stadium was so near. Because sometimes I will go to watch the games. And then the MRT station is so near. and it
Well,
was
Singapore is a lot more compact, I would say.
mm,
It is a lot more compact.
so
Well,
it's
but then
clean.
again, I don't know. I think a lot of people travel for different reasons, right? Most people, I think, the prime reason or the main reason is probably just to get away. I would think.
Let's talk about KL.
Hmm.
KL is the place that most Bruneians go to because number one, the food is
Cheap.
halal.
Oh, it's halal, yeah.
It's
yeah.
easy. I mean,
Currency's in our favor.
it's not an
Does a
issue
lot of
for
things,
us, but yes, halal food is readily available.
Yeah.
And you mentioned currency is in our favor.
Yeah.
$1 is to 3 RM.
Mm-hmm.
That means, yeah, everything is 33% discount.
Yes.
But, okay, what do you like and not like about KL? I'll give you one thing straight away I don't like about KL.
Let's hear it.
The distance from the airport to town.
Same.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is the only thing that actually puts me off about KL. Because
Correct.
It takes so long to travel from the airport just to KL Central, even if it's just by the express train.
But the expression is not too bad. You see,
It's not too bad, correct. Previously before, because sometimes I would fly to KL for work training and things like that. Oh my goodness, taking a taxi.
it's
from
1
the-
hour.
It is, and there was even once that a taxi had a flat tire, and it was just a nightmare. And I was already tired after reaching, so it was never an enjoyable experience.
Correct. So every time I travel to KL, I always hate this part.
Yeah.
The part
Just
that
the initial part.
I have to leave the leave the airport to get to my hotel and vice versa on the trip back. And that is why, so in our trip in January this year, we nearly missed the train. In fact, we were chasing after the train because we were already late. I don't know, why did we, okay, we stayed in different hotels. First, when we came over, we stayed in this old place in Pudu. In Pudu, yes, because I was familiar with the hotel,
Yep.
and I ordered shit from Lazada to send to the hotel. And because they know me, it's fine.
Yep. Yep.
So that was the first leg of the trip. And when we wanted to take the train to take our flight to Hat Yai, we came across two old guys who also were lost.
That was pretty.
And we took the wrong train in the wrong direction. That's why we were late. The train system was horrible, by the way.
In our defense, I don't think it's clear.
Yep.
The information that was portrayed.
Yep.
So.
And it didn't help that Pudu was one of the stations that changed lines from
Yeah.
what I remember previously. So that caused a lot of issues. But eventually we got to our flight to Hat Yai. That was quite fun. I mean, chasing after the train was no fun. But on the way back, so when we stayed back in KL for one night before we flew back to Brunei, we stayed in KL Central itself.
Yes.
That was super convenient.
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
convenient.
admit, that is so convenient. There's no way you would be late for your train because you can check in your bags in KL Central itself.
Yep.
And that made it a lot easier. And the fact that the train ride is fixed, 27 minutes to KLIA 1 and 32 minutes to KLIA 2, which is
That's
the
correct.
Asia
I
1.
mean, if you miss your flight, it's definitely on you. That's what
Correct.
I would say.
And in fact, I remember when we actually flew back to Brunei, we were super early.
Yes.
We were super early. We had time to go for a smoke, and then come back, and then still had time.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
For me, it was all right. It's not as I think personally, it's not as big of a hassle, except just getting from the airport to KL Central and this. But I
KL
think
itself is fun.
It's more of a painful experience for non-Malaysians, I would say, because I can just go through the auto gate while you guys had a queue for like
Oh man.
an hour and
Yeah.
a half at the custom,
Correct.
the immigration.
Correct.
Actually. Yeah, so I think that was a more painful part for you.
Yeah,
guys.
because you had
we
to
didn't
wait
account
for
the
us.
time to wait for you guys.
Yeah, because
I went on through.
yeah, you could use AutoGate because you're Malaysian, and me and Kenny, we had to go through international immigration, which took
Yeah.
a bloody long time.
Yeah. I was like, oh gosh, it's been an hour and this.
Yeah. And I totally forgot about that
Oh
actually.
yes.
Well, you would remember.
Yeah.
because I kind of deleted that from my memory. Although I still have videos from that day. So yes, Malaysia airport and the airport system sucks. The town itself is fantastic. I mean, okay, Malaysia always has this issue. Which place has the best food, Singapore or Malaysia?
Oh,
I have an answer for this. And my answer is fixed.
I think if you're looking for more of the high-end, fancier food, I would say Singapore.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think they've got more for you, more variety,
Okay.
more cuisine for you to pick and choose
Okay.
from. The best bang for your buck, definitely Malaysia.
Okay. That's easy to compare. But if you say which country has the better nasi lemak, which country has the better chicken rice?
I'm sorry, I have to.
Let's compare apples with
my own
apples.
country.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
See, I agree with that. I think Singapore does their own version of nasi lemak and their own version of chicken rice.
Correct.
But it's not the same as the one in KL. And the ones in
That's
KL,
correct.
I like a lot better.
Yes.
Like the taste. Maybe not the chicken rice. Because the chicken rice in Brunei is pretty awesome. And it's a taste I grew up with. So I'm
Correct.
used to that.
Correct.
So when I eat the Malaysian one, I don't really like it. But if you say nasi lemak, I 100% will pick the one from KL.
Yep.
For sure. And in most cases, I will pick the food from KL. If you forget the price, forget the variety that's available in Singapore, I would definitely pick KL food.
I think there are a couple of things that each country do well, that's for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how we ended up from talking about traveling to talking about food.
And traveling is everything, right?
Yeah, but ours is surrounded by food. We talked about
I
Jollibee.
think for a good majority of people, it definitely is surrounded by food. If not, I really don't know what else do people go travel for.
Well, let's talk about sightseeing places. Okay? So, okay, we've spoken about our individual travel preferences.
Yep.
If the lockdown ends, okay? In terms of where I would realistically like to go, so Philippines I would go because of the food, because I've got stuff to do.
Yep.
Real shit, like real estate.
Yep.
Adulting crap.
Adulting crap.
But if I didn't have to do all of that, I'd go to Vietnam. I've been to Vietnam once, and Vietnam was my solo trip. It was a solo trip to a place that I've never been before. Okay? Now, a lot of people, I'm quite surprised that in Brunei, a lot of people don't take solo trips.
Yes,
Even to
very
places,
few.
even to places nearby. Places they've been to multiple times, they don't take solo trips. I don't know why. Like, it's like they have this issue of people, like they're afraid of people watching them eat alone or travel alone.
It's that,
I don't get
it's
it.
that social pressure.
What the toot is all wrong with you?
Guys, it's okay to eat alone.
Yeah,
I do it all the time.
I don't
It's
understand.
fine. Correct. And I feel like solo trips, I think it's necessary.
Exactly.
I think it's necessary for just to be okay, to know that you're okay with where you stand, who you are as a person, and just enjoy your time without anybody else
Bugging you.
bugging you.
Yeah. So, Ho Chi Minh was where I went. It was my solo trip. And it's the place I would go back to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, Vietnam has awesome coffee.
Oh, yes.
For real, man. I was drinking coffee so much in Vietnam. Even at night, I was drinking coffee. I was not sleeping at all. All right? Let's not talk about the casinos there because it's expensive. And they charge in US dollars, damn it. But and the casinos there, it's for foreigners only. If you're local, you can't go in.
Yep.
It's mostly machine operated, not so much atmosphere. Fine, whatever. But coffee, right? And do you eat pho?
Yes, I do.
Pho in Vietnam itself. I don't know what's it like in Hanoi, the northern
Right.
part of Vietnam. Okay, but in the south, where Ho Chi Minh is, the beef soup pho with the
Yep. Yep.
spring onions, with
Yep.
Geez,
Yeah.
we're going on about
Correct.
food again.
Which is why I feel like, like there's a great reason to travel to a lot of different countries, right? Because each country has sort of like a national dish.
Yes.
Maybe not one in specific, but one that is well known, to other people. Like let's say example Korea, maybe you would think of the hanwoo or things like this.
No, in Korea you should eat live octopus
Correct.
or squid.
I mean, each country has one, and like when I was in UK, when I was studying at university, I had a lot of pho, right? But I'm quite sure, 110%, that the pho that I had there and the pho that if I was to go to Vietnam, is going to be completely different.
Of course. So when I was in Australia, the Vietnamese food that I was familiar with was not pho. It was actually broken rice.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they had this
right,
thing called
yeah.
broken rice. I think it was broken rice pork chop or something like that. When I went to Vietnam, there was barely any broken rice. Like, what the hell? So, but eventually I did find, and it was nice, but it was not as mind blowing as the pho in Ho Chi Minh. And prior to going there, I did my research of places to eat around my hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember the name of my hotel and the name of the street as well. Both of them had the same name. It was spelled Dong Du.
Dongdu.
Yeah, Dong Du. But then when I went there and I spoke to the taxi driver, I told him Dong Du. He didn't understand me. Then I show him the place. Oh, Dong Yu. Oh, Dong Yu. Dong Yu Hotel. Okay, Dong Yu Hotel. So I started to.
That is so good. That is bound to happen because we don't know the language.
Correct. It might be spelled DU to us.
Yeah.
We pronounce it as do. But to them, it's YU. Dung Yu. And you got to say the O. Dung Yu. So it sounds like I'm mimicking them or making fun of them, but it's literally how they say it.
Yep.
So I have to follow them. It's Dung Yu Road. Dung Yu. And so anyway, I researched the places to eat around. And oddly enough, the place with the best pho I had was not even the most popular restaurant. The most popular restaurant that was listed in the travel guides, right, was okay-ish. But my favorite one was actually a franchise restaurant.
Wow.
They had branches in a few places because I saw the signs. And when I ate there, I wasn't expecting much because I'm like, franchise food's not that great, right? But when I went there, I was like, man, this is better than the popular UK, so not UK, but popular travel guide books.
Yep.
So don't listen to travel guides.
I was actually just about to ask that. How much of travel guides do you actually, follow or do your research?
I mean, you look at the Brunei one, they recommend all these places. I'm like, why?
Yeah, no.
In the travel guides for Brunei, they don't mention Tian Tian chicken rice.
Make friends there, get them to recommend the food or where to go. They will know.
So I had that franchise one, and that was awesome. Again, I love coffee there. Vietnamese girls are beautiful. And you can go there and get your nails done. You know the typical. It might be discrimination, but it's like you gotta have a Vietnamese girl do your hair, do your nail, do your manicure, like you do a manicure. So I had that done. I had my hair done every day.
Wow.
It's cheap.
It is though. It is.
You know, I didn't have to fix my hair. I just went to the salon. I think it's like $3-4 US. I mean, it's not exactly cheap, but
it's all right.
when you're on holiday, you have somebody.
You splurge a little bit.
Yeah, you just sit down there, play with your phone. Okay, the hotel had this saloon that was not belonging to the hotel, but it was attached in the same building. So you just go down, have your hair washed. You'll see random pretty girls that start talking to you. Where you from? But yeah, I mean, Vietnam. I know I've spoken too much. Where would you like to go?
Somewhere new.
Other than Singapore, because yours you have personal agenda. Take away the personal
let's take
agenda.
away the personal agenda. Wow, even after hearing you mention Vietnam,
You're sold.
yeah, I'm sold.
What about Bangkok? Forget Bangkok. What about Korea?
We can hold off. Korea is definitely on my top list. Definitely one of my top.
Have you been to Korea?
No, I have not.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
I haven't always been the type
To travel.
to travel. Yes.
Because you had a very wallet sapping church group.
Yes. That's another story on its own.
But
I had money, but I didn't have money.
yeah. Right. So Korea, I'd love to bring you there too. I mean, that's
Korea, I would
a place.
definitely love. I love the culture. I love the food. And I love everything about it.
Having said that, right, when you're in Korea, I think you don't eat as much kimchi as you normally thought you would.
Yeah.
You eat a lot more samgyeopsal.
Mm,
A lot
would
more
Which I
samgyeopsal.
would love.
And
The two things I would probably chase after would be the samgyeopsal and the hangul.
okay, so one of my favorite things that I did in Korea was actually eating by the roadside. You know, like you see those K-dramas, they eat by the roadside and drink their sojus and get drunk.
Yes.
I did the same thing, exact same thing so many times. I literally sat there, ate samgyeopsal, and got drunk on soju.
Oh gosh.
I mean, we went to bars, we went to clubs. It was
I
fun.
think it's one of those places that you need to travel with a small group of friends, I would feel.
Yeah. It was
Fun.
so good, man. I really enjoyed the samgyeopsal plus soju combination.
Yeah.
Every day.
We need to go for somek.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
lot of things.
That's very nice. That kind of sums up this show for today. We're going to have to talk more about traveling in other parts and a little bit more specifics. But until next time, this is Jason.
And this is Desmond.
We are the Single Guys podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.